There was a huge argument between Samba TV and the Walt Disney Company over the last month. Samba TV claimed that Ahsoka's ratings were down below the Book of Boba Fett, down below Obi Wan Kenobi, not doing so well. Disney claimed, however, it was the hottest thing on Disney+, the #1 show when it debuted. Well, the truth is out. Nielsen is here. We've got the numbers. Today, we're going to be looking at whether or not Disney should ever be trusted again, now that we know Ahsoka was defeated by Bluey. All right, folks, welcome back. People are saying phooey to Disney after indeed it seems that they fudged the numbers when it came to Ahsoka. And today's, moral of the story is going to be the importance of telling the truth. It's something we tell our 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. It's something we as adults have to remember as well. And clearly, the corporation that is the Walt Disney Company needs to keep it in mind very, very often because they seem to struggle with the truth quite a bit. Let's take a look at how this all unfolded. We are going to begin by setting the table on how all of this has played out. And we are going to hold Disney accountable for what appears to have been a serious misleading of all of the people who believed what they said we never did. This coming out of the direct by Russ Milheim on September 3rd. New data reveals Ahsoka's weak viewership versus Star Wars Others shows. Newly revealed data suggests that Ahsoka saw weaker viewership data compared to previous Star Wars Disney Plus projects. While Ahsoka seems to be hitting the spot for many critics and viewers, some previously voiced concern that the show might be less accessible to those who have not seen all of the animated Star Wars Rebels series. All right, now this is an old article, but we have to read it because it tells us what exactly Disney did not tell the truth about. Here's what it says. Viewership data from Samba TV revealed that 1.2 million households watched Ahsoka over the course of its first 6 days on Disney+. Comparatively, the Book of Boba Fett had 1.9 million viewers in its first 6 days. Obi Wan Kenobi mustered up 2.14 million in its first 4 days. The Mandalorian, 2.08 million people in the first 4 days of Season 2, and only 1.6 on Season 3. So Season 3 really was showing some weakness, and so Samba TV said that Ahsoka pulled in 1.2, and so that was indicating a severe decline in Star Wars. We all feel that. We all know that. But something happened. On the very same day that Samba TV released their early numbers, Disney released theirs as well to combat the narrative. Ahsoka draws 14 million views for the first episode was what Disney claimed. This from StarWars.com by the Star Wars team. Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company are thrilled and humbled to announce, they were so humble, that Part 1 of Ahsoka, Master and Apprentice, was the most watched title on Disney Plus this past week. The debut episode garnered 14 million views, making the series #1 globally on the streaming platform. They even released this statement out of Kathleen Kennedy, who has never said a word since Indiana Jones other than this and a single sentence in another press release, in case you're wondering if she's feeling confident. Ahsoka has become a fan favorite with people of all ages, and it's wonderful to see her continue to resonate with viewers in her own headlining series, said Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm president. I want to recognize the fantastic work done by our creative team, led by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, the incredible cast led by Rosario Dawson, and our talented crew. And on behalf of the team and all of Lucasfilm, we give our thanks to all the fans who have been with Ahsoka on every step of her journey, and to all those who were just learning about her now in Ahsoka on Disney+. Okay, so Disney comes out and says 14 million views for the first episode. Now, we looked into this, folks, on how they determine what a view is, because at first you might think, oh, wow, that's a huge number. That's fantastic. That's great. Until you figure out, well, what does a view mean? Does it mean that you clicked on it and then that counted as a view, and you clicked on it twice and that counted as a view? Does it count, do they assume that there's a second person beside you watching and they get counted as a view? Do they average the number of people using a single subscription and count all of them whenever the thing is playing? We didn't know. Later on, we would find out that there was a complicated and convoluted formula that Disney was using. However, folks, take a look at this. Here we have the real results. This coming from Valiant Renegade, who we will zoom in on so you all can see it. Valiant Renegade says this, and then we'll show you the real numbers. Ahsoka's viewership. Remember, we just got the Nielsen numbers yesterday. Ahsoka's viewership for the premiere measured lower than that of Book of Boba Fett when adjusted for runtime. That's awful. Disney Plus has added millions of subscribers since then. None of them are signing up for Star Wars or Marvel. It's time for Disney to pull the plug on those franchises on Disney Plus because the cost-to-benefit ratio is way out of whack. They are spending too much money to produce mediocre crap at best that is nowhere near enough for people who are watching to justify these obscene costs. Now, what is Valiant Renegade talking about? Well, if we go to the Nielsen numbers, here's what we see, folks. Number one, we see that Disney was dishonest. There's just no way else to spin this. Look at this. What was the number one show on Disney Plus that week? Bluey. Now, here's how Disney tricked a vast number of media outlets and some who were happy to carry their water. They'll do it no matter what because they want the exclusives from Disney. Here's how they tricked, though, massive numbers of readers and viewers and formed the narrative around the idea that Ahsoka was doing great. I am sure that not a single episode of Bluey defeated Ahsoka in terms of ratings because Ahsoka had 2 episodes and Bluey has 140 episodes. However, in terms of what was on the TV most, Bluey, and not by a little bit, like 20 or 30% more viewership for Bluey than Ahsoka. And all of those outlets out there that were running these stories about how Ahsoka was number 2 in acquired. That's the latest thing, folks. They're talking about how great it is because it's number 2 in acquired shows or original shows. I'm sorry, original shows. Number 2. What's number 1? It's Suits. And what is Suits running at? 2.6 billion minutes. What is Ahsoka running at? 829 million minutes. It's about a third. About a third. Ahsoka is playing about a third of the number 1 show. The number 1 show, Suits, well, it's very, very popular. Aaron Carter, also very popular. Ahsoka, not bad. But I'll tell you this, it's going to be awful hard to listen to Disney when they release numbers again now. Because now we know that in reality, Bluey was the number 1 show when Ahsoka premiered. And that's the bottom line. So, does that mean when Disney tells us now how many viewers they had for Elemental that we're going to believe it? No. And that's really what this gets down to is we're going to now, I don't even know how to say we're going to have more scrutiny for Disney on this channel, but we're going to have more scrutiny. And we have to have more scrutiny because Disney clearly doesn't care. They just don't care. I don't know what the views mean. I don't know how they determine their viewership, but this thing is down compared to Boba Fett. We looked at it compared to Obi Wan Kenobi as well. Guess what? It's down about 20% compared to the premiere of Obi Wan Kenobi. It's defeated by a cartoon dog out of Australia. And yet Disney came out and trumpeted this with statements that were misleading at best. But there are ramifications to all of this. And I want to show you, we're going to take the side of Samba TV today. Because poor Samba TV, they're getting hammered, and we want to know exactly why. Take a look at this. We're deep into the weeds here, folks, but you need to see this because you need to understand what's going on inside entertainment. This from Stream TV Insider by Bevan Fletcher 2 days ago. ComScore, iSpot, Video Amp pass first phase of JIC ad currency certification. I promise we're in the weeds, but this will make sense, and I think you'll appreciate that we went here. Measurement companies ComScore, iSpot, and Video Amp have each secured conditional certification as currency for TV ad buying and selling by the U.S. Joint Industry Committee, an initiative formed earlier this year to help standardize and usher in multiple cross-platform currencies as TV viewing and advertising undergoes changes amid a fragmented ecosystem. Now, what have we been talking about recently? We've been talking about the fact that Disney Plus is now moving very heavily into ad-based revenue, right? They want people on the ad subscription plan as much as possible. Hulu is the same. Netflix is the same. They're all moving into ads. And guess what? If you're a company out there that is scoring ratings, the thing that you desperately need more than anything else, you need to be trusted. Because if you aren't trusted to provide the ratings accurately, then you can't be used to determine how much ads should cost, and that is your job. Conditional certification means the 3 vendors each scored high enough in the JIC's first phase of analysis to be considered transactable. Now they move on to the data evaluation phase, which, after full certification, is expected to be awarded in early 2024 to those who pass. To secure conditional certification, companies had to receive a score of at least 3 in every category, outlined in a scoring rubric created with input from both media buyers and sellers. That was detailed by the JIC in June. Now, who did not get in? Well, let's take a look at this. ComScore, iSpot, and VideoAmp were among the companies invited by the JIC to submit requests for information to be evaluated, alongside Samba TV, Innovid, and 605. Nielsen was also invited, but the incumbent measurement provider declined to participate in the open AP-led effort. Nielsen had better sense because they're already considered to be the absolute best. They are the standard bearer. They are the torch bearer. They have been there forever. The JIC formed in January with the backing of the Video Advertising Bureau and leading media companies, including Fox, NBC Universal, Paramount, Television, Univision, and Warner Bros. Discovery, though Disney remains a notable absence. A&E, AMC Networks, Roku, and Hallmark Media, as well as major buy-side agencies groups, also signed on to develop the baseline set of requirements and scoring process for JIC certification. Now, what does this all mean? Well, look here. Samba TV, Innovid, 605 are not moving on the second phase. What does that mean? It means that Samba TV was not recognized as being accurate enough to be a transactable aggregator of ratings. I know that's deep, but essentially, they don't believe Samba TV. The JIC is not going to say that they are valid when determining how much an ad should cost based on ratings. So they're not a trustable ratings company. And yet, let's not forget, it was Samba TV that came out and seems to have nailed the real viewership for Ahsoka, the real number of households. If we look at the comparables, the comparables, however you want to say that one, if you take a look at that versus Obi Wan Boba Fett, it sure does look like their stuff lines up. You know who's not trustworthy? Disney. And yet, you know what? Disney will not be the company that faces punishment directly for numbers that seem to have misled, although I am sure that Disney has some kind of crazy formula that made that number appear. I don't know how they can possibly excuse the fact that Bluey beat Ahsoka and they didn't tell that. I don't know how they missed that one. By the way, have you ever noticed how Disney never trumpets the success of Bluey? It's their number one show by far. By far. They never get out there and say, Bluey, number 3. A preschool dog cartoon is number 3. Period. On all of the streaming charts. It's amazing. Disney never talks about it because they don't make it. And because they can't make stuff that does that. Instead, they give us these crazy numbers out of Ahsoka that nobody now believes. They give us these crazy numbers out of Elemental that nobody believes. And the question I have now for all of you out there is, how much damage did this do to Samba TV? How much did this hurt their credibility? And by the way, the results of their request to be approved by the JIC, which is, that is fundamental to their existence as a company. They need that desperately. How much damage did the fight with Disney do to them? Did the companies buy into Disney's side of this? Did that affect the way that they were evaluated? Did that affect their rubric? We don't know. But what we do know is that Samba TV seems to have gotten the big one right, and Samba TV has been punished. Disney seems to have gotten it way, way wrong, according to Nielsen, and Disney will continue doing this same thing until folks like us put this out there and tell the truth as best we can. Disney, get your data right and tell the truth, because right now you are the little boy who cried wolf, except instead of the wolf, you're constantly crying that you have found the land of milk and honey, and we go there and all we find is vinegar and the salty, salty tears of Star Wars fans who wish you would make stuff that was as culturally relevant as what George Lucas once did. Ahsoka, it is not. It's not terrible, but it's not great either, and it's definitely down from the prior shows. That makes a trend line that Disney did not want you to know. All right, folks, that is the end of the video today. We hope that you all out there are telling the truth. Remember, it actually matters. It makes a big difference in our world. The more you tell the truth, the more adventures you will have. It's worthwhile. And if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Do you think we got this one right? Do you think we got this one wrong? We'll take your criticisms. We'll take the praise. Whatever you want to drop down. We just want to know what's on your mind because your mind really does matter. And folks, don't forget the Pro Show is Thursdays 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We keep it up through the weekend. Then it goes into the archives, and only members of the channel are able to see it afterwards. So catch it before it goes away. The latest episode was great with Paul Chatto. I think you're going to have a great time watching it. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, folks, keep having fun.
Clickbait, fraud, drama queen. Ugh, I wish there was a channel that was 5 to 6 minute news reads without the drama, frauds, and clickbait that could accurately let me know the current news, providing my crucial context utilizing all the different That Park Place contributors and creators.
Well, stupid, there is. It's the That Park Place YouTube channel, which will be going live real soon, so make sure you're subscribed, so you can really stick it to the algorithms.
You're joking.
Nope.